China's top political advisory body, the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, has wrapped up its 2013 session. More than 2,000 members gathered in the Great Hall of the People for the closing. Hona reports.
Taking up the leadership, Yu Zhengsheng, China's newly elected top political advisor, charged his colleagues with their common mission.
The 12th National Committee will carry out its work on solid foundations provided by previous national committees, will make new important progress in every area of its work, and create a favorable situation of forging ahead in unity, being democratic and harmonious, pursuing innovative development.
He set high standards for the newly elected CPPCC members, asking them to be more disciplined in every aspect.
CPPCC members are the key part of political consultation. We should strictly obey the CPPCC Charter, carefully fulfill our duties, stick to the truth, and dare to speak. We should always learn and think and be objective. We should obey the law and refuse to abuse power. We should welcome the supervision from the people as a necessary part of our work and maintain a good image of the CPPCC.
This session approved the work report of the past 5 years of the outgoing Standing Committee, the report on the proposals submitted by National Committee members to this year's session, and the political resolution of the first session of the 12th CPPCC National Committee. From institutional restructuring to environmental protection, political advisors have gathered to discuss state affairs and provide their own wisdom and pass the public voices in a way that influences national policymaking. For the newly elected 12 CPPCC members, this is just where their mission started. This year, advisors submitted more than 5,600 proposals on social conditions and public concerns and offered many comments and suggestions. Their expectations on the new leadership are high.
I'm deeply convinced that the new leadership is capable of leading us to a better life. In particular, my concerns are on more measures to help small and medium-sized enterprises.
I hope the new leadership will put more funding and investment in education, especially in rural areas.
The institutional restructuring is one highlight of this year's session, and I hope the new administration will address the issue of food safety.
The political advisors have concluded their session, but their duties of political consultation, democratic supervision, and participation in the discussion and management of state affairs have just started. Hona, CCTV, Beijing.
To get more on this now, I'm joined by Cheng Li from the Brookings Institution here in Washington, D.C. Welcome and thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
You know, there seems to be these really high expectations for this new leadership, and there's so much to tackle. What are your thoughts on this, and where do you start if you're a new leader?
Well, the two concepts emerged through these two meetings. One concept is by soon-to-be President of China, Xi Jinping. He said, placing power into the cage of regulations. So this is a clear message to crack down corruption, widely spread phenomenon. So that certainly is a very popular move. The second is the concept of the Chinese dream. We talk a lot about the American dream, but now the new concept of Chinese dream starts to emerge. This is a dream of a middle-class lifestyle, but also not just the economic well-being, but also the environmental protection, the serious concern about the environmental pollution in China. So delegates constantly raise that issue, but also in terms of rule of law and also to improve the economic reduce the economic gap and expanding middle class. These are all surrounded the major concept of China dream.
One of the things that we see a lot of here in Washington, D.C., Beijing, also a capital city, sure, bureaucracy. And that's one of the things they're tackling as well, kind of shrinking the bureaucracy. Yes. Is that a good step forward?
Well, this is also one of the major themes of the meetings. And they wanted to downsize the government. And now it's from the 27 ministries to 25. Probably this is only the first step towards major changes. There's some changes probably on the way, but it may take some time. You do see the resistance from the interest group or bureaucracies, but first, I think the cut down the bureaucracy is on the agenda. I think there will be more efforts towards that direction.
You know what's interesting here about the United States? You have a President Clinton, then there's a President Bush, then there's an Obama. Sure. We see these wide swings. You don't see dramatic changes like that in China. Are these going to be incremental shifts with the new leaders? Will they come in gradually? What kind of change? Is it something that we should watch kind of incrementally, would you say?
Well, it is an incremental change. It's still the Chinese Communist Party, which ruled the country for over 60 years. But the composition of the leadership change from the revolutionary leaders to technocrats, now to the leaders educated in law and economics. For example, soon to be President Xi Jinping also gets training in legal law, and Li Keqiang got his really very solid undergraduate in law, but also PhD in economics. So it's a new generation of leaders. But look at the CPPCC. This is a group. It's also even more diversified. Some people are non-party members. And for example, Han Qide is vice president of CPPCC, and Wan Gang, also another vice president of CPPCC. Both are trained in the West. One is Germany, the other got his 2 years training in Emory University. Han Qide is a respected medical doctor. He really quite instrumental in terms of tobacco control. I think this is also a very important topic for China.
Let me talk about, briefly, if we can, a couple of the issues that are out there on their agenda as they come into power. These lingering issues with neighbors about some of these island disputes. Also kind of a wary relationship with the United States. It seems kind of like an odd dance going on. Do you see any shifts there?
Well, I think there's a very interesting discussion during the meetings. And several delegates talk about, despite the tensions, China should really continue Deng Xiaoping's mission, kind of objective for China, stay right on the development and the peace. China needs this kind of conducive environment. And also there's a debate about how to deal with the challenges of the disputes, and they should look at the big picture for the long-term development, not let the nationalism out of control. So these are very sober discussions. I think we welcome that kind of discussion in China.
Well, we welcome your comments as well. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.